The fact is, that danger remains. While we have put Al-Qaeda's core leadership on a path to defeat, the threat has evolved. As Al-Qaeda affiliates and other extremists take root in different parts of the world, in Yemen, Somalia, Iraq, and Mali, we have to keep working with partners to disrupt and disable these networks. In Syria, we'll support the opposition that rejects the agenda of terrorist networks. Here at home, we'll keep strengthening our defenses, and combat new threats like cyber attacks. And as we reform our defense budget, we have to keep faith with our men and women in uniform. And invest in the capabilities they need to succeed in future missions. We have to remain vigilant. But I strongly believe our leadership and our security cannot depend on our military alone. As Commander-in-Chief, I have used force when needed to protect the American people. And I will never hesitate to do so as long as I hold this office. But I will not send our troops into harm's way unless it's truly necessary. Nor will I allow our sons and daughters to be mired in open-ended conflicts. We must fight the battles that need to be fought, not those that terrorists prefer from. Us large-scale deployments that drain our strength and may ultimately feed extremism. So, even as we aggressively pursue terrorist networks through more targeted efforts and by building the capacity of our foreign partners, America must move off a permanent war footing. That's why I've imposed prudent limits on the use of drones, for we will not be safer if People abroad believe we strike within their countries without regard for the consequence. That's why, working with this Congress, I will reform our surveillance programs. Because the vital work of our intelligence community depends on public confidence. Here and abroad, that the privacy of ordinary people is not being violated. And with the Afghan war ending, this needs to be the year Congress lifts the remaining. Restrictions on detainee transfers, and we close the prison at Guantanamo Bay because we counter terrorism not just through intelligence and military action. But by remaining true to our constitutional ideals, and setting an example for the rest of the world. You see, in a world of complex threats, our security and leadership depends on all elements of our power, including strong and principled diplomacy. American diplomacy has rallied more than 50 countries to prevent nuclear materials from falling into the wrong hands. And allowed us to reduce our own reliance on Cold War stockpiles. American diplomacy, backed by the threat of force, is why Syria's chemical weapons are being eliminated. And we will continue to work with the international community to usher in the future. The Syrian people deserve a future free of dictatorship, terror, and fear. As we speak, American diplomacy is supporting Israelis and Palestinians as they engage in difficult but necessary talks to end the conflict there. To achieve dignity and an independent state for Palestinians. And lasting peace and security for the State of Israel, a Jewish state that knows America will always be at their side. and it is American diplomacy, backed by pressure, that has halted the progress of Iran's nuclear program and rolled parts of that program back for the very first time in a decade. As we gather here tonight, Iran has begun to eliminate its stockpile of higher levels of enriched uranium. It is not installing advanced centrifuges. Unprecedented inspections help the world verify, every day, that Iran is not building a bomb. And with our allies and partners, we're engaged in negotiations to see if we can peacefully achieve a goal we all share, preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. These negotiations will be difficult. They may not succeed. We are clear-eyed about Iran's support for terrorist organizations like Hezbollah. Which threaten our allies, and the mistrust between our nations cannot be wished away. But these negotiations do not rely on trust. Any long-term deal we agree to must be based on verifiable action that convinces us and the international community that Iran is not building a nuclear bomb. If John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan could negotiate with the Soviet Union, then surely a strong and confident America can negotiate with less powerful adversaries today. The sanctions that we put in place help make this opportunity possible. But let me be clear, if this Congress sends me a new sanctions bill now that threatens to derail these talks, I will veto it. For the sake of our national security, we must give diplomacy a chance to succeed. If Iran's leaders do not seize this opportunity, then I will be the first to call for more sanctions. And stand ready to exercise all options to make sure Iran does not build a nuclear weapon. But if Iran's leaders do seize the chance, then Iran could take an important step to rejoin the community of nations. And we will have resolved one of the leading security challenges of our time without the risks of war. Finally, let's remember that our leadership is defined not just by our defense against threats. But by the enormous opportunities to do good and promote understanding around the globe to forge greater cooperation. To expand new markets, to free people from fear and want. And no one is better positioned to take advantage of those opportunities than America. Our alliance with Europe remains the strongest the world has ever known. From Tunisia to Burma, we're supporting those who are willing to do the hard work of building democracy. In Ukraine, we stand for the principle that all people have the right to express themselves freely and peacefully. And have a say in their country's future. Across Africa, we're bringing together businesses and governments. To double access to electricity and help end extreme poverty. In the Americas, we are building new ties of commerce. But we're also expanding cultural and educational exchanges among young people. And we will continue to focus on the Asia-Pacific, where we support our allies. Shape a future of greater security and prosperity, and extend a hand to those devastated by disaster as we did in the Philippines. When our Marines and civilians rushed to aid those battered by a typhoon. and were greeted with words like, "We will never forget your kindness and God bless America." We do these things because they help promote our long-term security. And we do them because we believe in the inherent dignity and equality of every human being. Regardless of race or religion, creed, or sexual orientation. And next week, the world will see one expression of that commitment when Team USA marches the red. White, and blue into the Olympic Stadium and brings home the gold. My fellow Americans, no other country in the world does what we do. On every issue, the world turns to us, not simply because of the size of our economy or our military might, but because of the ideals we stand for, and the burdens we bear to advance them. No one knows this better than those who serve in uniform. As this time of war draws to a close, a new generation of heroes returns to civilian life. We'll keep slashing that backlog so our veterans receive the benefits they've earned. And our wounded warriors receive the health care, including the mental health care that they need. We'll keep working to help all our veterans translate their skills and leadership into jobs here at home. And we all continue to join forces to honor and support our remarkable military families. Let me tell you about one of those families I've come to know. I first met Corey Remsburg, a proud Army Ranger, at Omaha Beach on the 65th anniversary of D-Day. Along with some of his fellow Rangers, he walked me through the program as strong. Impressive young man, with an easy manner, sharp as a tack. We joked around, and took pictures, and I told him to stay in touch. A few months later, on his 10th deployment, Corey was nearly killed by a massive roadside bomb in Afghanistan. His comrades found him in a canal, face down, underwater, shrapnel in his brain. For months, he lay in a coma. The next time I met him, in the hospital, he couldn't speak, he could barely move. Over the years, he's endured dozens of surgeries and procedures, and hours of grueling rehab every day. Even now, Corey is still blind in one eye. He still struggles on his left side. But slowly, steadily. With the support of caregivers like his dad Craig, and the community around him, Corey has grown stronger. Day by day, he's learned to speak again and stand again and walk again. And he's working toward the day when he can serve his country again. My recovery has not been easy, he says. Nothing in life that's worth anything is easy. Corey is here tonight. And like the army he loves, like the America he serves. Sergeant First Class Corey Remsburg never gives up, and he does not quit. My fellow Americans, men and women like Corey remind us that America has never come easy. Our freedom, our democracy, has never been easy. Sometimes we stumble, we make mistakes, we get frustrated or discouraged. But for more than 200 years, we have put those things aside and placed our collective shoulder to the will of progress to create and build and expand the possibilities of individual achievement. To free other nations from tyranny and fear, to promote justice and fairness. And equality under the law, so that the words set to paper by our founders are made real for every citizen.